Good morning, beautiful people. I want to just share my love from Firenze, Italy. It's been an incredible journey so far. This is, however, a public service announcement for any travelers, especially Asian travelers. This trip has been a mixed experience. On one hand, I've been so grateful to see all the beautiful history, the arts, all the beautiful culture, and especially in Rome, how people just live life. So that has been very beautiful. I've also encountered many beautiful Italian souls from all walks of life, so that's been a great joy and a gift from the universe. Before I dive into the public service announcement, I'd like to take a moment to just arrive. So I'm going to invite you all to place your feet flat on the floor and rest your hands and just take a deep inhale and an exhale. One more inhale and an exhale. And you can just notice your breath, your natural breath, however it is. And I'm just going to tune into my body. See what phenomenal sensations are happening there. Because my body will cue me to how I'm feeling, and how I'm feeling will impact what I say, how I say things. So it's super important for me to check in with my body. So this morning, I went to a bakery down the street from where I'm staying. It's called Mencioni. My Italian is not that great, but it is this spot here. I don't know if you guys can see it. So this morning I went to watch the beautiful sunrise, and my host recommended that I try out this amazing pistachio croissant. I accidentally went to the bakery next door, Mencioni, this place, and the woman behind the counter was so incredibly rude that it really took me off guard. So for travelers out there, especially those who are Asian, may have experienced racism, prejudice, unfair treatment, coming not only here, but anywhere around the world. That's a huge issue nowadays. And I've had a few encounters, but in Italy, but not like this one. The woman behind the counter saw me come in. Another lady came in after me. She ignored me and asked the lady that came after me what she would like. The woman was kind enough to point out that I was ahead of her. And as soon as the lady behind the counter directed her attention to me, I felt so much negativity. She had a very intense scowl on her face. Sorry, I think all the microaggressions are starting to build up Afterwards, I went to the cashier to pay. She took my money and then she basically threw the change on the counter. At that point, I was really confused at first. I wasn't sure why she was treating me that way, besides the fact that I was Asian, or a person of color. I'm not sure, but nobody else was treated in that establishment in that way. I left and I was incredibly angry. All I really wanted was a pistachio croissant that my host recommended, and that is literally no way for any human being to start their morning. A second incident I witnessed and not encountered directly was when I went to a pasta joint in Rome, and I went pretty early, so it was easy to get a seat. During the rush hour, there was a Asian family that came, and the server was so incredibly rude to them. I was shocked. He basically said that there was no room for them, even though there was a queue of people outside waiting. And he promptly ushered them out. He told them to step out, close the door very rudely, and they weren't moving fast enough, so he ushered them out and took them next door to a restaurant that I know wasn't as good and was more of a tourist trap. Now, foodies all over the world might resonate. All human beings, despite the color of your skin, has the right to delicious pasta. So I continued eating. I didn't say anything, and in retrospect, I wish I did. I think culturally, Koreans, at least I'll speak for myself, I'm used to just staying quiet and internalizing things when injustice happens. And what was interesting was that there was an American couple sitting next to me, and girlfriend, boyfriend, and the girlfriend asked the boyfriend if what they just witnessed was odd. And she felt that it was kind of messed up that he did that. And the guy was just totally dismissed it. And the thing is, at that moment, I related to both of them. One, if I were to really tune in, I could tell that what I just witnessed was wrong. So I could have been a proactive bystander. The gentleman, I relate to him because, like him, I dismissed the situation and I didn't say anything. As I was paying for the check, I thought about saying something to the server who was so rude to that Asian family, but I didn't, which I feel remiss about. So those two incidences really catalyzed this video, and I feel that I just need to speak up, and I want to share my experiences so that people of color who are traveling to Italy or any sort of country, any country all over the world, just to be aware. And I want you to know that you do not have to tolerate that sort of treatment from other people. We're all human beings. And again, everyone has a right to be, everyone has a right to eat delicious food, the last democratic thing I feel that exists on our planet. So I felt it was a huge injustice that I witnessed, and it was an important lesson for me to speak up. So I want to call all Asians to unite in their travels to Italy or wherever all over the world, United States, wherever. It's not just one country. This is a global issue that has been present since the dawn of civilization, where people of color are treated very differently just for the basis of their skin tone. Also, when you travel, you notice that whether you're in the Caribbean, whether you're in Europe, Asia, the people in the service industry are usually darker skinned. And maybe that's not true everywhere, but where I go, I see that it is a trend. And in my exploration and studies into racial equity, you start to see in this book, Mindful of Race, they talk about seeing a constellation of racism. And it's not just, if you see one incident, that's one thing, but when you see patterns of behaviors and incidents and personally experiencing injustice, you see a constellation of racism all over this world. And it's simply not okay. We are in the age of Aquarius, and the age of Aquarius, just very briefly, the symbol is of a water bearer. And what is interesting about that astrological symbol is that it is a man carrying a jug of water that was traditionally a woman's role. So it's all about coming together. I like the analogy of everyone, whether gender, race, so many other labels out there, transgender, it doesn't matter. It matters, but no matter who you are, you have a voice in this cosmic choir. And in a choir, the voices may be different, but it creates an amazing, beautiful harmony that is just one chorus. So I love that metaphor as we're moving through the age of Aquarius, to keep that in mind, to celebrate all individuals, but oneness at the same time of all humanity. So back to traveling, I want to call Asians, people of color, to unite. We're in a great period of time. I'm so grateful for technology in one sense, that it makes us all interconnected. It makes information readily available, and I'm especially grateful for GPS systems and Google Maps. Maps that allows human beings like myself to travel. So I went ahead and wrote a review on any platform that I could recall about Nancioni, about the woman and the racism that I encountered. I wrote a review on TripAdvisor, Google Maps, there's Apple Maps, Yelp. Think about the platforms and the sites that people in your country uses, and if you ever experience something negative, prejudice, racism, I encourage you all to speak out. If you're able to tune in that moment to your body and speak out and stand up for yourself, that's great. I wasn't able to do that. But you can also speak out and unite on social media, on the internet, and write a review about your experience. To sort of warn others, and also I don't want to spend my hard-earned money in an establishment like that. So you're in charge of where you choose to spend your own money. So that is a power, that's an energy source. And maybe you don't want to frequent establishments where they condone that sort of behavior. I also want to end on a positive note. A quick plug for Vogue Italia. They had a beautiful February 2020 issue this month. And they had a little package, the New Frontiers of Awareness. And this mini magazine celebrates all the beautiful designers and artists from all over the world: South Africa, India, South Korea, Italy, Taiwan, Morocco, Japan. And I thought it was a huge step forward in Vogue and Italy taking a conscious step towards raising awareness about the issues of hyper-nationalism, or nationalism or exclusivity that can happen in countries. It even happens in the United States. They had this beautiful spread, The Future and the Forever, This is Italy. And the spread included a model, Maddie Fall, and a tennis player, Jannik Sinner. And I thought that was just so beautiful, and it really helped me regain faith, just added a positive token of faith of where this world is going, and that I can have hope that positive change is on the rise, and that humanity's awakening is truly happening. So lastly, I want to leave you all with a few tips for travelers, especially in Italy. I had a loved one share some tips with me that really helped me a lot, so I just wanted to pay it forward. So one thing that thieves will do to try to jack your shit, basically, someone might offer to take a photo of you, but somebody will come up behind you and try to take things out of your pockets. Somebody might ask for directions. A fashion tip for people, especially if you don't want to be hyper aware of your bag. My host also warned me of being very aware of your bag when you're eating. Make sure it's very close to you, because these thieves are very good at what they do. If you don't want to carry a bag around, since it's a bit colder, I had an inner jacket and a top coat, and I kept all of my valuables in my inner pocket. I also had cargo pants where the pockets were deep and down towards my calves. In the summertime, I personally would recommend wearing a fanny pack. I have this really cute one from Mango that I got eons ago. And it goes with everything, but it's a great way to just store your things, and it's right here. I don't have to worry about my money, my wallet, my phone, or anything like that, and you could travel light. And also just be very aware of your phone or sunglasses, whether they're on you or on the table laying out, because they tend to get stolen too. But anyways, just a few tips that I wanted to share. I hope that helps. I know that when something gets stolen, like my wallet or other valuables, it causes a lot of stress, and sometimes you're not in a situation where you could easily replace those things. So yeah, just sending everyone positivity and safety on that regard. So last but not least, I want to close out with a blessing towards all of you. I'm so grateful for having the voice to speak up. It's been something that I've been doing much later in life, and I'm grateful once again for the path bringing me here to this beautiful country filled with so much art, culture, and beautiful people, inside and out. So off to see more beautiful art. And I will definitely check out the Ferragamo Shoe Museum to just make me feel better. And yeah, I'm sending everyone so much light, so much joy, so much peace. Compassion, free from passion. And I just want to take a moment to draw up the image of that woman this morning. And to offer myself forgiveness. And to share that compassion and forgiveness with her as well. I know the situation isn't right. And again, nobody deserves that type of treatment. You don't have to tolerate that type of treatment. But I also know that certain acts and behaviors come from sometimes deep levels of unconsciousness. So we'll just leave it at that. So anyways, ciao for now. Mwah. I find it very interesting that in this exhibit with the culture of diversity, so appreciate everyone dressing their own style, but how many people of color did you see in that shot? Just a big question for Ferragamo.